Stay tuned for another episode of Shea Marie's Diva and Vixens podcast. We're going to have author New York City Educator Sharon Coggins and her 10-year-old son Fabian Amin Williams. And they're going to talk about their book that they co-wrote, Daddy Has Cancer, a story about losing a husband and father to cancer, and encouraging men of color to be proactive on personal health. Hope everyone tunes in to this broadcast, as it will contain a lot of information that could help people in our community.
Just want to hit right here in my butt and shit. Yo, it's a timeless thing, man.
All the glitter.
It's not family business. It's not reality.
All the glitter.
It's not good. It's good, man. It's not reality. Try to make it, yo, if we could.
Here I am.
Welcome to Worldwide Entertainment TV.
Well, thank you for having us.
No problem. Could you tell us a little about yourself?
So my name is Sharon. I am an educator in New York City. I've taught for over 21 years in Harlem. I am a mother of 4 children, and I not too long recently have 4 bonus children. So there's a total of 8 wonderful kids. My life is the children, taking care of my children and making sure they're aware of life, being happy, healthy, and just aware of things. That's my life at this point in time, sharing awareness.
All right. So I've seen that you're originally from Guyana.
Yes, I'm from Guyana, and I came here when I was 5. And of course, we traveled back and forth. You know, I think most West Indian parents do that, send their children back home to visit on holidays, you know, get to know the culture and just be aware of where we're from. So I also do the same with my children.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I'm born in Grenada and my parents, Trinidad and Grenada. So yeah, there's a back and forth that goes on.
Yes, but I think it's good so that they'll be able to explore different places. And, you know, I think the best education is through experiences. And when you go to these different places, you experience different things, you see people and their culture, and that's all a part of learning. So I really like that about, you know, learning, you know, the traveling aspects behind it.
So your book is about your husband that passed away. Could you tell us more about your husband? What kind of man he was?
So my late husband, he was from Jamaica, and amazing man, very hardworking. He liked to take care of his family, you know, very family orientated. And he was an electrical engineer, and he was just a loving person, very caring. This here, little man, is his firstborn son. So he didn't have any children before or after him. And he left his legacy right here. So, yes.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the importance of family in the Black neighborhoods? Because there's a lot of trauma that the neighborhoods have gone through since, like, during the 1960s and everything. What from your perspective, how important is it to reach the kids at a certain age to shape their mind for having a more positive outlook on life?
Well, I personally feel that there has been a breakdown in the family, but these past 2-3 years, I've seen a lot more male involvement in the school system And it has changed a bit, at least in my school community. You know, there's a lot more dads coming in. The culture is made up of people from Africa or the Caribbean or Black Americans. And I see more unity happening, but I feel like more could still happen in not just my community, but in other communities. And I think it's important to teach the children that family is important. And you should always have some sort of communication with your family, because in the end, if something happens to you, you should be able to confide in someone. My book came out November 14th. And one of my cousins mentioned to me that her son is 26, by the way. She said to me, you know, we bought the book and we were sitting because I had it in a restaurant, the book signing. We were sitting in the restaurant and she said to me, you know, my son said to me, what did Fabian died from? That was my late husband's name. So I said, well, she told him he passed from rectal cancer. So her son said, what is rectal cancer? And he had no clue what that was. And he wasn't aware of what goes on within the body. And she said, although we came here and it's a children's book for young children, you know, I'm here having this discussion with my son that is 26-year-old. And she said they end up having a whole entire conversation on what is rectal cancer and the stigma behind getting, you know, a colposcopy, and people feeling as if it's violating their private, you know, parts, and they're not comfortable with it. And a lot of men, I can say some West Indian men that I know, they don't want to be touched in certain areas because it's tabooed and because it's not things that are spoken of. And for her, it was an eye opener for her. And she was happy that she was able to get the book for her grandsons as well, because if her sons didn't know it, you know, at least at an earlier age, her grandchildren would know this and they would take better care of their body. So long story short, her son said to me, to her, you know, well, Mom, I think I need to go get checked out because I have difficulties using the bathroom sometimes, you know, and that wasn't initially what my book came from, you know, but it's leading in that direction of awareness for men and their health and just taking care of themselves and their bodies, you know, and the younger you're able to teach them that, the better it would actually be for them as they get older, that they're aware of what I should put in and how I should take care of it. What should I do in the event that certain things occurred? So I was pleased and I felt really great about the book after she said that to me, because it's not just about children anymore. It's about, you know, everyone, you know.
Because usually people don't find out about certain diseases or illnesses until it hits home close to them or the person themselves. So
very true.
Having a book about this kind of topic, it would educate people, although you might not think it because it's targeted for children. It'll educate people, or at least make them aware more too.
Aware, definitely. And that was, and the book itself, it's very simple, down to earth for preschoolers. And it gives them that baseline of what is cancer. And then it'll generate conversations with the mom or the dad or, you know, whomever, to just even spark that conversation of just being aware of your body. You know, these are words that should be in everyone's vocabulary, because when a child becomes ill, and, you know, people usually say, oh, my cousin or my dad died because he was sick. So now a child catches a cold, they're going to think, oh my gosh, I'm going to die because I got sick. No, my dad passed away because he had cancer. It wasn't just that he was sick, but
Yeah,
you know, you don't want to simulate, you want to make sure you're simulating death with the correct terms that are being used. And the children would only know this when you teach it to them. So I think it's important to have certain words in the children's vocabulary so that they can know, well, you know, we have to be careful because this is what's going on. And it's not to scare them, but it's just to let them be aware.
Yeah, because
to, you know,
they will be confused at the situation.
Yes.
Because that comes a lot with confusion, with sudden death and things like that. So it is important to let them know.
Yes, yes. And not to hide things. Yes.
Yeah. So what made you become a teacher?
Well, I always loved, you know, being around children. I was always the one everyone left their children within the family, or, you know, and I just love being around them. I had past experiences that I felt shouldn't had happened, you know, and I wanted to be that person to allow children to have a voice at an early age in life so that they can express themselves. And, you know, it's okay to share how you feel and to talk, just to talk and to be able to communicate with someone that would be there for you and to have your back. And that's how it initially began for me. And I felt the best age for me, because I've taught different age groups, but the best age for me is at the youngest age, where, you know, 4 and 5, because that's where they're first building their vocabulary. That's when they're learning. That's where they're grasped most of what they're going to get. You know, that's the start. And that's where I wanted to, you know, that's where I latched on to teaching. So, that age group. Yeah.
So do you believe that background that you have helped you with making the book and knowing how to relate to the children to understand?
As an educator, that helps me to be able to vocalize with my son and to talk with him and to empathize with him and to communicate with him more in how he's feeling, you know, how he's doing mentally, you know, physically, how is he taking it all in on what's going on with his dad. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, he may. He needed to use the restroom, sorry.
All right.
So you could go. Yeah, but it was just wanting to make sure that he was okay with the situation and he knew what was going on with his dad. You know, because even in a part of the book, it's like he's saying, you know, the adults didn't think I knew what was going on, but I knew what was going on. Because we would have people come over to the house. Oh, he's a kid. He doesn't know what's going on. Oh, yeah, he knows what's going on. You know, because he sees the difference. He sees the changes, you know, saw those changes. And it was like, how is he able to cope with the changes that are going on, you know? His dad isn't the same. He can't pick him up anymore. You know, certain things he wasn't able to do as much with him. You know, he was a lot more fatigued towards the ending, and, you know, his patience wasn't the same. And that definitely wasn't him, you know, with him. So it was a big change for him. And these are things that I had to work with him on to make sure that in the end, he was emotionally okay and stable. Yeah.
So do you feel kids have different reactions to a situation? Because some kids would talk about it, but what happens when a kid goes inside and keeps it all to themselves and don't want to relay their emotions?
Every child is different and they show their emotions in different ways. We as the adult have to pick up on those signs, and we have to pay attention to our children and know what's going on with them. If they don't want to talk about it, they can write about it, they can draw about it. There's so many different things they can do, you know, but you have to build that relationship with your child that they should want to be able to come to you and express to you what's going on. You don't want your child to come to you and you say, oh, what's wrong now? I'm not going to come to you if that's your first reaction, you know? When you have to, when they come, you have to be able to sympathize with them and empathize with them. And it's not just you that is going through the situation. They're going through it as well. You know,
That's
it's the entire family that is being affected by it. They're seeing the changes. You know, we can't just shun them and say, oh, they're kids. You know, it doesn't always work. And this is why when children grow up, sometimes they have these, you know, they have different traumas they end up developing because they weren't, their needs weren't met when it was supposed to be, you know, met.
Yeah.
So it's like to eliminate some of the stress and this trauma, talk to them, be compassionate towards them. The same way we want to be treated, that's the way they want to be treated as well. So they're like little people.
Yeah. So how do you contend with competing with all the different competition out there and trying to reach the kids with music and television and movies out there?
I don't intend on competing with anyone, you know.
No, not
My
you
story
personally, not you per se, but just in general when teaching and trying to educate kids, and they always get distracted by other things that are more, that they might consider
but
more
that's the thing.
attractive.
Kids are, you don't have to compete with those things. As long as you show an interest, they'll want to come and do things with you. There's so many things to do with children these days, so many different, you know, taking them to the park, teaching them how to ride the bike. There's so many other things you can do that children want to do once you show the interest too. You can't tell the children, oh, just go outside and you're inside relaxing, looking at TV. That's not showing interest. Go out with them, do things with them, sit with them, draw with them, help motivate them to want to do these things, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't have to compete with electronics. In the end, the parent will always win. My kids will take a vacation any day over a game, you know?
Yeah.
They went away to Jamaica for a week and a half to spend time with Fabian's family. And they enjoyed it, you know? And they loved it.
Yeah.
Going to the creek, going to the beach, just playing ball in the yard, you know, doing regular things they're not accustomed to doing. There's no competition. You just have to find a way to get them to these places and get them out. You know, there's tons of museums in New York that you can take your children to. So it all depends on the visual.
So how did your son react to seeing a book being completed?
Oh, he's excited. He said he was a superstar. I think when we finally completed the book, I think his teacher mentioned it to the principal and they had a little announcement about it in school. And he was so excited. He said, Mommy, I'm famous. Everyone kept waving at me.
Yeah.
So that was it. He was very proud. And that's good. He has something of his dad to, you know, makes him feel good about himself and he's proud of.
Yeah. So you're also a motivational speaker. How hard is it to speak to children and explain to them when they lose their parents at a young age? Because I know from a few instances where the kid starts to have a resentment against life and the world and feels it's unfair. How do you reach kids like that?
Like I said, compassion, being able to sympathize. I understand what you're going through. And sometimes, well, I haven't lost my parents, but I have lost my husband and I've lost my grandparents. So I can sympathize with you. I can understand. Sometimes I'll even admit, I don't fully understand what you're going through, but tell me what you're going through so that I can understand, you know, want to really be a part of what's going on in that child's life. Don't just say, oh, I'm interested to know, but then it's just for that one day or it's for that short period of time, you know. double back.
Yeah.
How are things going now? You know, people like to get like feedback. They want to see that people are really and truly interested in what's going on with them. It's not just a conversation or, you know, and sometimes sharing your own experiences also helps, because then they'll really see, look, wow, somebody else actually went through this. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what this book was about for this little man here.
So what would you say is 3 bullet points that people could take away from the book?
3 things you can: family, communication, and what's one more thing? You forgot? We didn't plan this. So I think family is very important, and it's surrounding yourself with people that truly love you, you know, and that want to really be there for you. The next thing is communication. I feel like it is very important for you to be able to communicate with the people that are around you so that they can feel safe coming to you and saying how they feel about certain things. How I feel is something very important. Those are very important words, you know, just being able to express that, and just loving yourself enough to want to be able to take care of yourself. Someone shouldn't have to tell you, this is what I have to do. You know, so self-love is also very important. So those are the 3 things: self-love, surrounding yourself by people who love you and that you love, and communication.
Okay. So are there going to
Communication
be
and
any
comprehension, the 2 goes hand in hand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Important to understand each other, because that breakdown, their generation gaps, is a thing that happens in our community that I
Yes.
believe could be something that could mend situations.
Yes.
So do you have any other future projects coming out that would be associated with this kind of topic?
So we have another book that's coming out, and it's just pretty much different experiences that he's faced since his father has passed.
Okay.
Different experience he's faced since his father passed, and it talks about how he dealt with not be, you know, going to school and not being able to celebrate Father's Day with the other children, but he still had other positive supporters, you know, so along those lines. And then I have another book that's coming out with my stepdaughter. She actually lost her mom to breast cancer. So we're working on that project as well.
Okay. So do you also believe when you're writing that it also is a therapy for you? Because maybe this could be a way for people to
definitely
help themselves to creating books for them and helping others at the same time.
Definitely, definitely. This started off as a journal that I used to jot notes about Fabian Amin and his dad. And I had the book, my journal, and I would jot down different things inside, different events that took place, different things he had probably said, because he was initially 2 when his father became ill with cancer, and he passed when he was 4. So different things along that line. He had said, I put it down into the book, and then I created a scrap. And it was just a outlining of things he said, and I put it together, and I actually read it to his dad before he passed. And I said, hey, what do you think about this? So he's like, I made that. It's going to sell. It's going to sell. I was like, okay. You know, but once he passed, I had to alter the ending and, you know, change it to suit the story. And when I was initially writing, someone said, this is such a sad story. And I said, it's not a sad story. It's a part of life. And this is what we went through. And I'm pretty sure other people are going through it. I think it would be important that we would share it. We would be able to share it.
There
So
it is
he
right
wants
there.
to show you a copy of his book. On your face. You can hold it like that.
Is there anything you want to say?
He's very shy tonight. I don't know.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous. It's okay to be nervous.
It's all right.
Yes. So
Do
he
you
just
have
wanted to show it.
any lasting words you want to tell the viewers?
Any lasting words? No, I just wanted, I would just like to thank you for just having us on your show. I really appreciate it. And
Thanks for being on.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he said to let them follow their dreams. That is very important.
Advice. Yes.
Very good advice to be able to follow your dreams and don't let anyone stop you from what you want to do. So that is very good.
Great message.
Yes.
So where could people get the book?
Okay. Where people can get the book is on www.fabiesjourney.com, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, books to read.com too.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you guys didn't hear him, he said fabiesjourney.com, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and bookstoread.com.
Okay, so it's readily available for people.
Those are some of the few places that you can purchase books.
Okay. So thanks for the interview, guys.
Thank you. It was definitely a pleasure.
All right.
JNF is where I started all Palisades block where my life is frustrating mentally, internally draining bitter like my bush tea in my cup, not even a liquor, no can be sugar coated. It's a hard knock life for us, Jay-Z cause ain't no better for us. Wish there was no word called stress, looking in the mirror and realize the life it ain't easy. Tupac Machiavelli, way back in the days when Granny was around, always carried a smile, said baby girl be a woman of the century, don't let nobody bring you down. Live your dreams out there, life's rough, resemble that so much. Wish I knew my granddaddy Javen. Rest in peace to your souls, may you rest. I blow a kiss to your coast stone.
Some say life is bad. Is it cause the light that they have?